Hey everybody, welcome back. Long time no see. We were just ended our show 20 minutes ago, but we're back with a second edition today of Metaphysical Minds, and I'm super excited about this show because it's a one-on-one interview where you get to know one of our spotlight psychics from bestamericanpsychics.com. She is featured on the homepage of the website for a reason. She is a highly skilled individual, and we're really, really happy to have her back with us. Tiffany Powers, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Long time no see.
Yeah, right. I know. All right, folks. So I know a lot of you are out there listening, and I want to give a shout out to the folks that are starting to tune in. We've got Susan from Canada. Yeah, Susan is one of my. She's a Facebook friend. So, and we're gonna have other people jumping in. So when you guys jump in today, tell us where you're from. We're going to be talking about intuitive blocks and psychic protection and all sorts of good stuff. So, but first of all, let's delve into Tiffany Powers and who she is. Now, you guys already know she's on bestamericanpsychics.com. We're going to put her link right here in the comments section. But let's get to know Tiffany a little bit better first. So Tiffany is actually located near Austin, Texas. She's been in business, had her own professional business now for over 8 years. She's taught clients all over the world. She's also done ThetaHealing internationally. She can work remotely. She's got a huge list of specific skill sets. So we've got business, love, health, coaching, psychic and intuitive work, remote viewing, clearing blocks, animal communication, space clearing, home blessing, spiritual education and training, connecting you with your spirit guides and angels. She also does past life readings and, of course, mediumship for people and animals. And everything she does is directly through the creator or source. Her direct website is tiffanypowershealing.com. And that's Tiffany with an A, so it's Tiffany, powershealing.com. We'll also put her site up on in the comments here. So, anywho, Tiffany, tell us a little bit about how you got into working as a professional psychic. What did that look like for you, and how did you end up where you are today?
So, I started my spiritual practice in my early 20s. And I used to be embarrassed to tell people how old I was because I think I was like 22 or 23 when I started my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was giving spiritual advice and like coaching people. And it was really, it was funny. I used to be like, no, I'm not going to tell you my age because I felt like I was like, young to start a business like that. But I started my business kind of by accident. I originally actually was in the healthcare field, and I was very intuitive, and I would give my patients crystals, and I knew if somebody was going to code, or if they were having like a blood sugar issue, like I already had those abilities, and I would kind of utilize those in the medical field because I used to work on all the different units of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And about 6 months before I ended up quitting my career in the hospital, I got a strong intuitive message that said that, in about 6 months, you're no longer going to be working here anymore. You're going to be done. And I was like, I don't believe you. What? Because I thought my career was going to be, becoming a nurse and then just staying in that field because I loved helping other people.
Right.
So I ended up getting a back injury and a neck injury, having to quit working in the hospital. And during that time, I was hired by an Australian company, and I started doing readings. And then basically I transitioned, I think it was like from December to January, and to fully having my own business, and it just automatically happened. And I just kind of automatically started using the skills that I already had with clients, and they just started coming to me from all over the world. And it happened, I would say, in a matter of like 30 to 60 days.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that fast? Jeez, that's crazy. Well, so when you were young, so you were more like of a medical kind of intuitive, if you will, or were you actually communicating with the other side and seeing spirits at that point too?
Everything, yeah. I mean, so I know I look super pale, blonde hair, but I do have part Native American in me. It's interesting. I know I have a lot of things on my bio, things I can do, but I kind of have done all of those things, I guess, as far as like, you know, being a medium and having people who've passed away coming to me, and then seeing the angels, and, you know, being raised strict Catholic, but having my friends come in and I'm doing tarot readings for them and readings and like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I've had experiences since I was little. You know, one of the first experiences I remember was being a baby and knowing that my house was haunted and knowing there was a ghost there. And I remember that. And then from then on, it's just like I was always naturally in tune with that world and just very empathic. But yeah, I would say like one of my strongest gifts is being a medical intuitive. That's really strong for me. But all the other ones are equally, I mean, I use them all the time as well.
Mm-hmm. So how did that, when you were younger and you were having these experiences, did you get a welcome reception from your family on it, or was it kind of like, no, don't do that? I know that we deal with a lot of psychics on Best American Psychics who literally, they were shunned, and their parents said, stop doing that. You know, don't do that. People are going to think you're crazy. I mean, what was your reception like?
Well, my mother is a very eccentric woman. So, you know, definitely, but she was very open. My mother always had like a huge fascination with being a medium. She's naturally gifted, so she would take me with her to investigate like more paranormal stuff. So I would go with her, and she would kind of utilize my abilities to kind of help her. And she would do a lot of recordings and things like that. And also my uncle is a paranormal investigator.
Okay.
And he's done like Bigfoot investigations and things like that. So I would say pretty open and welcoming. And, you know, and also my family, my dad's side, who is very strict Catholic, they were extremely open to me, believed in, you know, what I said. They would, you know, send their other family members to me or refer people. So I would say that my family was incredibly open. I think that actually the most, I don't want to say difficulty, but the most pushback I've experienced was probably living where I am now. That's where I've experienced the most as far as just people not being open. But growing up, I feel that people were extremely open, like my family was. And I was very lucky in that way.
Wow. Well, that's very good, because, you know, I think it makes a huge difference when you are encouraged versus sort of like tamped down and squelched. It really does make a difference in that level, especially if you're, you know, supported through something. So kudos to your family. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So, all right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about intuitive blocks and, you know, kind of clearing them, but also utilizing them. So can you explain to folks what an actual intuitive block is so that they understand what we're discussing?
Yes, absolutely. So the way that I work with clients, a lot of times they'll come to me for a reading first, and they'll, you know, I'll give them a reading on whatever it might be. But part of my skill set is actually literally looking into someone's body or space and being able to tap in and know exactly what their biggest block is for it, if it's like a health issue or a life issue, or they're feeling stuck with their career, money, love, things like that. So basically it's me using my gifts of hearing, seeing, knowing, feeling, smelling, all those, you know, psychic senses, and then connecting with my client, tapping in and just seeing what their deepest fear is, and seeing, you know, maybe it's a past life thing. I mean, I've been working with a lot of people lately where they want to be healers, they want to be intuitive, but they feel so scared and they don't know why, you know, and they have support around them. But when I look at someone, I can see in their space that in a past life, they were killed for being a healer. They were killed for, you know, practicing, that people thought they were witches. So they like have this fear that follows them, and it makes it so that like they feel like scared to do the work because they're like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, so what I do, I do a lot of readings, yes, but I do a ton of healing work with people. So basically the best way to describe it is looking at someone, figuring out what their block is, or getting that intuitive information. And then I use different things to help release those with people so that they're not like a prisoner of like their past lives or trauma or whatever it might be that's holding them back. My greatest wish for clients is to see them soar and be super just happy in every area of their life. So any way that I can help facilitate that, that's what my goal is.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because we did a couple of shows on past lives, and I don't think people realize the degree that a past life issue can actually hinder you in this lifetime, because it's you don't even really think about it kind of in your everyday life. You're like, oh yeah, this is, but there are people that from a little tiny child, they have these ingrained fears in them, like almost to a phobia point. Mm-hmm. And they may not understand, like, where does that come from? Why am I so deathly afraid of water, or I have a friend that she cannot stand anything near her throat because she feels like she's going to be choked. And I'm like, it's a necklace. It's not going to, and she's like, no, I don't put anything on my throat. And I really believe that it's probably a past life thing, because she was probably, choked or hung or, something where her air was cut off. So, it's amazing how these blocks can really hinder people. But another side of that, though, is these intuitive blocks, in a sense, could be an asset to our lives. They almost could be protecting us from something. So could you touch on that a little bit as well?
Yeah. So, and I think that, so I guess one that might be helpful to people. So if people are blocked on seeing psychically, and there's something with that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But maybe that for some people that could be a good thing, because they're scared of, maybe they don't want to see everything that intuitive people get to see. When we see things, we see everything.
Right.
That could definitely benefit somebody and help them to feel safe. And sometimes people don't want to release things like that because they're like, well, I don't really want to see the spirits, or I don't want to see the entities, or, things like that. So they're like, I'll just keep it. So, things like that could benefit you.
Yeah, we get that a lot. And that's a really good point too. Because we have a lot of people on Best American Psychics that when we interview them, they say, as a child, they weren't one of those supported kids, and they were terrified because, they'd be seeing people that had passed over just sort of walk through their room or come into their area, and they didn't understand psychic protection and boundaries. So, when you're 5 and you have, 4 men standing at the bottom of your bed, and you don't understand that could be extremely terrifying for a child. So, but how do you, as a professional psychic, how do you know which blocks are sort of advantageous, almost like protective ones, versus the ones that definitely should, be cleared and get out of the way?
Yeah. And when you say that, when I was little, I had some scary, I saw some scary things. I mean, I saw very graphic, scary things. And that helped me to understand, like learn about the protection, which I can talk about. But what I do with people is I let them know like what this block is. We talk about it. And then I ask them, like, do you feel safe releasing this? And if they're like, no, I don't, then it's like, I respect that and we don't do it.
Okay. Got it.
It's a boundary thing. Like they can tell me yes or no, or it's based upon what they want to experience or have in their life.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, because sometimes you just sort of know, it could be something like you could have an allergy to something and not even know it, and just be like, no, I don't want to eat that, or I don't want to put that on my skin, but you don't even know why. And then it's it could be some crazy thing. So yeah, okay, well that's good, because I'm just trying to think if people are out there listening to this show and they want to come to you for a consultation about perhaps overcoming their psychic blocks, what that looks like for them. But you already touched on that a bit earlier in the show about how you kind of delve in and you guys take a look at everything that's going on with them, and then you figure out what they want to work through and how to work through it. So, so let's talk about the psychic protection, because I think that sort of really goes hand in hand with the intuitive blocks. So if you've got people out there that maybe are budding psychics or mediums, or even just need psychic protection from others, because there are what's called psychic vampires. that kind of feed off of your energy and suck you dry. So can you explain to our listeners today what psychic protection is, and then maybe give them some tips on how they can set up their own barriers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a common thing because I work with a lot of people that are trying to get into this business, or, you know, like they're learning to work with other people and they're just kind of starting at phase one, and they're like, you know, oh my God, this is happening or that, what do I do? So I do a lot of work to help them so that they feel more secure. So basically psychic protection is creating a healthy boundary between you and things that you don't want to deal with. And it's being able to command and ask for things that you don't want around you per se to go, which is very, very important, because when you're doing intuitive work, everything can come to you. So it's like having that discernment and just you deciding like, this is what I want to work with, this is what I don't want to work with. And then if you're feeling something like that, you're able to, you know, ask it to go, whether it's like a spirit or an entity or something else, you know, darker, you're able to, you know, ask it to leave. And, you know, I do that a lot, you know, because things will come to me. And when I work with clients, I can pick up on all that stuff around them as well. And I'll ask them, do you want me to release this from you? Because some of these things will be like attached to people. So yeah, I feel like it's healthy boundaries, you know, with the spirit realm. And then also, you know, with the vampiric people, that can be a big thing too, because when you're an intuitive person, your aura and your light might be extremely bright. And that can just kind of, it's almost like drawing all these different people to you, or spirits or different things, and being able to, you know if you're feeling tired or funky, or like after talking to a friend or clients or whatnot, you know, it could be because that person may be draining you and trying to like literally live off of your life force energy. So in those situations, you know, it's like literally cutting cords, or even maybe you can't have those type of people in your life, or just having those kinds of boundaries. But that can also be very common as well, because some people definitely live off of other people's life force energies.
Yeah, I know that very, very well. I had a terrible experience at a spiritual expo, a New Life expo, and I didn't even know. I was young. That was a long time ago, and I didn't know anything about. I didn't even know people could do that. Could like sort of like attach to your energy and you know, suck it. That sounds so odd, but you know, it really does happen. I mean, I got physically ill from an individual. It was crazy. It was just a crazy experience. But I mean, you know, I've of course learned since then. But I walked in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed into this New York Life Expo, and I was just like, "Hi, everybody!" And it was like, you know, they sucked me like a sponge. It was like not good. So yeah, it's so now what just some general practice stuff for those that may not be too familiar with psychic protection, but are feeling, you know, drained, or they go maybe into work and they're just like, oh, I'm so exhausted, or they feel like their energy is being unnaturally drained by others around them. What recommendations can you give to them, just maybe daily practice things that they could do to help, you know, buffer themselves?
Yes. Well, if a person's feeling really depressed and very low energy and just having thoughts that are very bad, they might have like a spirit attachment or some type of entity attached to them. And in those situations, you might want to work with a professional like me or somebody else that could help you. And you can also command and ask for anything that is not for your highest good to go to whatever your belief system is. I say God's light or Creator's light, and just release it. You know, using things like Palo Santo, which is a wood. I don't have any right now, but I need to order some. But it's beautiful wood. It's really good for cleansing. Very popular more in like South America, and also sage. Selenite crystals are really good. They're very good at constantly cleansing. You know, if you're having issues with that, you can keep some selenite on you, or darker crystals are good for protection. You know, utilize
tourmaline or something.
Yeah, those are really good. And then, you know, as far as like with these people that are draining your energy, you can also ask for like cords to be cut. But you may have to practice some really strong boundaries. And sometimes I will even ask for like white light or protection over my emails, over my computer, over my phone, over me, over, just like that. But those are things I do all the time because, just working with all these clients all the time, it's like I have to really protect myself, and anybody who's intuitive should really be doing that.
Right. You need to cleanse. I mean, it's just like anything. If you, whenever I go out like into the city or whatever, I come in and I want to like wash my hands and shower and because and it's not anything against anyone. It's just you pick up stuff, residue and such. So yeah. Now I did have a question about these psychic quote unquote vampires. Do you think that they're aware of what they're doing? I guess the question is kind of obtuse. Some of them probably are and some of them probably aren't. But I would imagine, what's your experience with that? Do you think that most people that are drainers like that are like consciously aware that they have that ability? Or do you think it's more of just that's who they are and they're so used to that feed that they don't even know they're doing it?
Right. Well, in my experience, a lot of the people that are doing that type of thing are narcissistic people.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, they live off of other people. So I on some level, I think maybe some people are not aware of that, but I think on some people, or on other levels, like some people are aware of that because it's very beneficial for them to operate in that way in their life. And don't really want to change it. And, Yeah. And then when you create a boundary with them, they get really pissed and mad.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
what are you doing?
Like this indignance of, oh, you dare to defy me? Yeah. It's not fun. So yeah. Well, I think that those are great daily tips because we all need obviously to set up some boundaries. And another thing I wanted to touch on, we just wrapped a show on angels, and of course, I'm sure you would agree that you can call in, your angels or your spirit guides or whatever for some added protection, and not forget to do that. So so that's all very very helpful information. Now, with our intuitive blocks and our these sort of hindrances that we have, how long does it take to normally, is this something that people could clear up in like one session, or does it usually, I guess it just really depends on the person, right?
It depends on the person. And, it's like, there could be a topic that we work on for a period of time. And once that, maybe it's like being more successful or manifesting a soulmate or, being a successful entrepreneur or healer. But I think it's dependent on the person, but a lot of things can really be cleared up in one session. If a person's super open to it, I can do a lot of work on somebody in one session.
Okay. Wonderful. And then in those sessions that you do, well, let's talk a little bit about theta healing. Like, what is that?
So theta healing, I can work with anybody with any as long as they're open to a higher power. I can work with anybody unless they're atheist or satanic worshiper. Like I can't do that, but but anybody else would be totally fine. And basically, how it works is it's just a prayer meditational technique. Me utilizing my abilities, tapping into clients, and then all it is basically is asking for things to be healed in a person or released. And I just ask for that in prayer, and then I just witness it with my abilities, and then it just happens. And it's basically like reprogramming the subconscious and reprogramming people's inner world and inner thoughts and helping them to release anything that's blocking them so that they're open to basically a whole new life or a whole new paradigm, in their life.
Okay. So do you go in, I know you're a psychic and you're a medium and you have the ability to bring through departed loved ones and then of course spirit guides and such. So in a healing session, would you say that it's kind of like all encompassing? Do you sort of bring in all those gifts at once? Is that how a session would work?
Actually, I did one yesterday. I brought in mediumship. I used that. I did the healing work. I did a future reading. I did some really, block clearing, did some past life stuff. So, and some medical intuitive stuff came in. So yeah, it's amazing, but kind of everything comes in, and basically whatever a person needs, that's what will come up in the session.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's phenomenal, because really you're getting, it's kind of like going through the car wash and getting the whole detail. You're getting it all done at once, which is,
yeah,
that's pretty amazing. We were talking a little bit earlier about the narcissist and how the narcissists get angry and everything. And Wafa, who is one of our regular listeners, she was chiming in and said that we were very correct, and she's going through that right now with her ex. So Wafa, we're sorry to hear that, but you could definitely book a session with Tiffany and perhaps check in, and she might be able to help you clear some of that stuff out that you're going through, or at the very least, definitely follow the advice that she gave you earlier in setting up some of that psychic protection, because you do not want to let that linger, because it becomes stagnant, and then also it can become very it can actually make you sick, and you certainly don't want that, because it borders abusive when they start to get like that. So you don't want to deal with that. But anywho, so I don't want to delve too much into this, Tiffany, because I know it's a personal thing for you. But in your younger years, you yourself overcame abuse and chronic illness in your life, and your physical self and your emotional self has transformed exponentially, which congratulations to you. I think your story is amazing. And I've kind of followed your Facebook transitions there through everything in your life. So congratulations on that. But I want to really point out to our listeners today that Tiffany has dealt with some pretty extreme things and some extreme changes in her life. So the point of all this is, regardless of what you're going through in your everyday life, if you need somebody out there who can understand where you've been and can stand, has literally walked in your shoes with illness, with abuse, with physical challenges, Tiffany is your person. Because if you go to her website and you get to know her at all, and you follow her on your Facebook page, you absolutely can learn a whole lot more about her. So Tiffany, tell us a little bit about how your past and your history helps you to be where you are today. I mean, I know you've overcome a lot. So what does that do for you today as a professional psychic?
Well, I think that it helps me to deeply understand clients, and to just in a variety of things, from like abuse to sexual abuse to, dealing with narcissists, and, just very scary situations, and chronic illness. That's a huge one. A lot of people are chronically ill.
Yeah.
So I'm able, like you said, to really tap in and connect with people, and they know I understand. And I also think that I give people a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you went through this narcissistic thing and now you're okay. And it's like, yeah, I'm okay and I can help you. But I feel that I can't be mad at my past. I can't be upset with it or devastated or be a victim. I feel that all these different things are things that I chose to experience so that I could help others to take them to another level in their life. And it's changed me as a person, but I also think it was me choosing on how I wanted to deal with it. And if I was going to let it make me crumble, or if I was going to let it empower me and allow me to shine. And you know what I mean? I think you can just choose how you want to react to these things.
Yeah. And I really love that you said that, because you, and again, your strength and your bravery in this is, it's humbling, because there are so many people who experience a lot less than what you have experienced, and they're the ultimate victim. Well, my life is so, so you really have grabbed that empowerment, and you've taken it to a whole nother level. And I just from me to you, I highly respect that. that, the strength of that. So thank you for being an inspiration, to everybody out there that encounters you. I really, and I'm dead serious about that. Like I literally have, I went back through sort of your Facebook progression, and I was just like, wow. I mean, you're it's a beautiful thing to see how you've come out to the other side. So thank you for that. So yeah, I didn't mean to get all like, at the end of the show. She's now going to make her, don't cry, no crying. There's no crying in baseball. So you're good. But anyway, folks, we're at the top of our show. But and I know this was just a brief glimpse into kind of who Tiffany is. But we are going to have her back for more of these one-on-one interviews. And in the meantime, I highly encourage you to get to know her, because she's an amazing person and has an amazing story and really can help you in your everyday life. So her links are going to be right here below in the comments section. And if anybody really is interested in this show, you can type Spirit in the comments there, and you'll subscribe to future shows as well. So Tiffany, any final words of wisdom to our audience today?
Yes, just instead of, letting these situations hurt you and destroy you, choose happiness. And even if you're in a really bad situation right now, think about something positive that you're going to bring into your life.
Yeah, wonderful advice. Think of something positive and make it happen. I mean, that's what it's all about. So, all right, folks. Well, we thank you for listening to, if you were with us the prior show and you were with us with this show, double the thank you to yous. But we really appreciate the support. And if you liked what you heard here today, please consider sharing our show, even if you're listening to it in, encore version. That would be fantastic. We really, really do appreciate the support, because everybody that comes onto these shows is volunteering their time for free and their knowledge for free. So we totally appreciate the shares that you can give us out there, and the comments. We love to, if you have a show topic that you would like us to discuss, definitely comment, and we'll bring one of these experts back to discuss it. Or if you want to learn more from Tiffany or about Tiffany, ask your questions, and then for the next show, we can maybe cover some of those topics as well. So anywho, this is Shay Parker. I'm going to be signing out, but in 2 weeks, actually, Tiffany herself will be back with us to discuss angel encounters, or at least angel topics part 2. So we're going to be back, and don't miss out. We'll be here at noon 2 weeks from now. So, all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and sign out. Tiffany, thank you for everything, and thanks for sharing your time with us today. So, all right, wonderful. Everybody, this is Shay Parker, Metaphysical Minds. Until I see you again, I ask you to take care of yourselves and take care of one another. We're signing out.